Yo, 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 yo. Hey. My name is Shaquila Barnhill, and you're listening to the Birthday Lady Astrology Show podcast. This podcast is all about helping you answer questions about you. Hermetics is about viewing man/humans as miniature versions of the entire universe. And thank you for tuning in. Now, we're going to have a lot of fun, but remember 3 things. I'm not your typical astrologer. I don't do future forecasts. Kind of into the beginning of a thing, let you know about the end of that thing. We'll talk about that in future episodes. And 3, I'm fair. Okay? My goal is to help you understand this ancient science better, to help yourself rather than just look at it as some entertaining parlor trick. I can give you insight onto how to deal with your drama and nuggets of guidance, but not change your life. Only you can do that. So let's get started. This episode was recorded on June 27th, 2018 at 7:17 p.m. And this is episode number 4, believe it or not. And today we will be discussing the truth about how to attract cancers. Okay? Now, for more information on how to subscribe to this podcast and to help support the production of future episodes, please visit my Spreaker podcast while you know how you're listening to me right now. But also visit me on my Facebook page at Is That Keela, my Twitter at The Birthday Lady, my Instagram at Shaquila Barnhill, and then finally my website, personalities at personalities.wix.com/the-birthday-lady. Now, IGTV and YouTube channels coming soon. I'm doing that in response or in regards because it's my birthday. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. I am a Cancer, but I'm also basically what you can call me is a person that focuses on the science aspect of astrology, kind of like astronomy, because that's what I'm using. Before there was Bibles, guess what they looked up. And over the last, since 2001, I focused on really understanding this science, trying to actually with me being a devout person that I am, I have things that I have to check out before I can really continue down this pathway of life coaching. But I had to make sure that this was what I wanted to do. And so now I'm here, and now we're going to do some useful information. And you probably already know about this stuff. But for instance, let's talk about the truth about how to attract cancers. One of the many things I do is I take information from a variety of subjects and sources, and I'm able to read it so that people understand it. And one of the things that I realize is that when you're trying to attract a certain person, you find out about their birthday. Yeah, it's kind of like, ooh, I wish I knew how I could know more about this such a person. So anyway, so what happens is I know a little bit about every birthday or every sign. So when it comes to Cancerians, just know this. They're vulnerable. But what are they vulnerable to? Well, like most people, they're vulnerable to praise as well as criticism. You got to let them know directly and forthrightly how much you admire them. And nothing will draw Cancers out of their shell more readily than a warmth of approval. I'm telling you, y'all. The more we feel love, the more you will see us. And that's just on everything. Pick out a quality that you can, in all sincerity, because we can see through that bowl. We can see through that bowl. But you compliment us. Especially if you're trying to get with us, okay? Or a Cancer. Do you like what he or she is wearing? The smile. Their ability to listen attentively, because no one is better at this than Cancers. Remember that. But tell them that. Make sure while you're trying to get with this Cancer, make sure you let them know that, man, you are such a good listener. Don't be insincere, though. I'm telling you, we can see through that and single out some quality merely for the sake of having something complimentary to say. We can see through that. Cancerians also always spot the difference between a compliment that is sincere and the one that was meant to make, like cajole us into some kind of little situation. And see, and I use this information from Joanne Wolford, one of the people who actually taught me my first beginning stages on how to draw up birth charts and natal charts. But that's how she puts it. And then I go on to my other young lady that I like to listen to or like to read about. Her name is Linda Goodman. Now, let me just tell you what Linda says about some stuff about hooking up with cancers. She says, crabs they carefully calculate their actions, and this is true. And we need strength of an accepted precedent. So we have to have seen it work. Like, we need to know and be assured that there's some financial security. It's like a foundation. Like, we cannot be with some old scattered brain. No. One thing that cancers fear is going it alone without insurance policies. And we need that. That's probably what takes a lot of Cancerian men a long time to actually pop the question, because they need to know that they can financially take care of you. And so if you ever wonder, like, well, what is taking him so long? We get along so good. Yes. They fear going it alone without such an insurance policy, which is why most of their ventures are successful. And each final move of a coup de grace is executed with finesse, because these people are shrewd, especially when it comes to business. Male or female, though, Linda goes on to say that Cancerians love their homes with respect bordering on reverence. I cannot drive that home enough. To be in the comfort of our home or nice, quiet, homely surroundings. I mean, this is where we play. This is where we live. This is where we love. This is where we dream. This is where we feel safe. So if you're trying to really get with that Cancer, I would suggest really making home or being in the home, or just making safety a real forefront of that conversation. Also, I notated just one more thing, another thing that Linda goes on to express. Now, Linda Goodman, she's been around for so many years, but she's also great. But she doesn't teach. Well, she does teach as well as Joanne, but Joanne Wolford gives you the only astrology book you'll ever need. And that's really where I got a lot of my beginnings at it. But then I went on to traditional and sidereal astrology. Then I started doing numerology. And then over time, I just started gathering all these different books on the subject. And then I started leaning towards my favorites. And if you don't notice, these are hitting home. That's why we're going to keep on utilizing my two favorite. But just trust and believe. I got more information and this is fun to me. But really, I'm doing this to help us. We really need to help ourselves. I mean, we do a lot of self-help things. And is it really working? I doubt it. So what we ultimately need to do is remember that if you're trying to get rid of Cancer, for one, they home life, they mamas matter, but food somehow represents security. If old Mother Hubbard had been born in July, she would have never recovered from finding her cupboard bare. And that's on everything. Whether they actually eat it or not, the crab feels safer when there's a lot of food around and we're full. I mean, literally, I need food around. Just talking about food brings rosy glows to our expressive faces. Just talking about food and the stories of starvation will horrify me. I mean, I'm literally watching the news and these babies and all. Oh my goodness. We care deeply about the hungry and we feel a responsibility towards every empty stomach. I mean, so if you're trying to get with the Cancer, what am I trying to say? Food or something that they like, something they really like. And just remember, don't waste. Wasting food is a crime to Cancers. You'll get all the second helpings you want, but be sure You clean up the plate, okay? Because these are true maternal. It's really like being with your mom, And then finally, what I have to say on how to attract cancers, if you can really extract some of the things that I've talked about in this episode, if you really want to attract cancers, compliment them. Home, food. And then I want to kind of end with this. Know this. Cancers are highly secretive, but seldom deceptive. And there's a difference. They're graceful, poetic, musical dreamers whose raindrop tears are preludes to fits of giggles. Money and food can seduce them into almost anything. Yet, they're more sentimental at heart than even Leo, Libra, and Taurus, and always economical and thrifty. You'd be all these things too if your emotions were synchronized to every change of the moon, right? I want to now that was Linda, but then we're going to finally end up with just a couple of more nuggets of insight into really getting with cancers. So we found out that food, home life, compliments, real compliments, not the kind you just make up just because you want something. We can see through that. But also, remember this. Show Cancerians the softer side of your nature. Are you interested in charities? Talk about that. Or children, by all means. Or discuss a genuine personal problem that's troubling you. Cancerians will be able to show you our best side, which is empathy and our ability to give constructive advice. And I mean, on finances, politics, and sports, these are all areas that Cancerians are very interested into knowing. Again, I will say, we like finances. We like to talk about money, how to get money in the future, how to make money now, more money. Did I say money? Politics. I have been avoiding that this whole podcast, which I deserve some kind of award with food because I've been doing that so good this whole episode. And sports are other areas that interest us greatly. And that's true. For a date, get tickets to the theater or some art or cultural event. That works for us. We like that. Cancers like that. We respond to romantic, strongly melodic music, okay? And we're inclined to enjoy concerts and operas. A nice touch would be to pick a restaurant where there's strolling musicians. Okay, that's your girl. Okay, I'm going to end on that note because I like to keep these episodes long enough for some good information, but short enough so that you can get on with your way. And that way we can keep this going on because there's so much information that I'm always just skimming off the surface. So we'll continue this information in the next episode where we talk about health because that ties into erogenous zones and things of that nature. So anyway, again, for more information on how to subscribe to this podcast and help support your girl with the production of future episodes, please visit my Facebook page at Is That Keela. You can also hit me up on the Twitter at The Birthday Lady. I'm also on Instagram now. I mean, all of this. Then I got Messenger popping. Then basically, listen to my podcast. I'm going to be doing this regularly, at least every Thursday, once a week for starters. And I truly appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And you know what? Yes! And thank you. You are the best. This is the Birthday Lady signing off from the Birthday Lady Astrology Show podcast. And you guys be blessed. I'll talk with you next episode. Stay safe.